Okay. You were telling me about your family and your husband. What was his name?
Robert.
Okay.
Robert Bizzle. And like I said, he had at that time, I don't know whether our foreparents quite understood what education was to children.
Right.
And he was taken out of school when he was 6 years old
Okay.
because they lived on a farm and with the white family. And his mom needed him to help do whatever was growing on the farm.
Right.
And so he ended up not getting an education.
Okay.
And by him coming back and forth to Athens, there was a theater right down here where the Pep Boy down here,
Right.
and it was the only black theater, and the theater was owned by Saul Abram.
Okay.
And it was a theater for black people. And so I met him by just
What was the
going
name of
to
it?
Harlem Theater,
Right.
HARLEM, the Harlem Theater. But it was basically because at that time we still weren't integrated, but we could
And that's
go
where
to
y'all met?
other. Yeah.
Okay.
We could go to other movies, which was the Georgian Theater and the Ritz, but black people didn't have their own theater, and when we did go, they set us off in sections.
Okay.
We weren't allowed to sit on the main part of the theater floor like we do now, where you can go and you can sit anywhere you want to sit. We just had
You
sections.
said the Georgian, which
The
is,
Georgian Theater.
is it still at the same location?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
And then you
yes.
said the Ritz.
The Ritz was downtown. It was below the University of Arch campus.
Okay.
And it sat right in that little area where they got little restaurants and things there now.
Right.
But a theater used to be there.
Oh yeah. Tell me about the Harlem.
The Harlem was just a black theater for the black people, which we was proud of, and everything pertaining the running the projections was by two brothers. They are black, and they still working. They were the one that run the films, and then we had the black people.
What did you say about the two brothers? You say they're still what?
They're still working. They work at Beechwood now.
Really?
Yes.
Same
The same two
brothers that ran the Harlem.
That's
are
right.
Working. And what
That's
their name?
right.
I like to talk
Floyd
about
and Lloyd Johnson.
Okay.
And they are still now, knowing they're still at Beechwood.
Okay.
They still
Wow.
works in the film production.
Wow.
But yes, the Harlem Theater was just a good place, Fred, to just go as as young people and growing up, and that's where basically anybody that liked to go to the movies, that's where they went, and that's how you ran into people that you grew up with or people that you didn't know, and eventually you began to know them and got to know them through just
So you met your
speaking.
husband there, then you got married in
Yes.
1960, and you say your son was born
In 1960.
in 1960. Okay. And then where did y'all move as a family? Where did you live?
We lived with my father at
Okay.
212 Magnolia.
Magnolia.
Yeah, Magnolia Street over
Tell me
here.
about that. What was
Well,
Magnolia like at that time?
Magnolia was a nice black resident area for black people because all the people up and down the street was black, and you had a mixture of middle class people, school teachers, regular domestic workers, and we were right near. I mean, I could, where I lived and where our house lived, I was just a scoop away from coming
Is
to
that
school
house still
every
there?
morning. Yes.
Okay. Which house is it?
As you go down this street and go down road, you know what Greater Bethel is?
Yes.
Okay, and when you get to the end of that street, our house would be not directly in the.
Okay.
It would be the next house.
Right there. Okay. And how long were you there?
I was there. My mom passed in '59.
Okay.
And so I stayed there maybe the rest of '59. Well, no, wait a minute. I graduated, and then I stayed there the rest of '59, which is right.
Okay.
Then I stayed there '60, and I think my dad might have married maybe on down the middle of 61 or
Okay.
62.
Okay.
And then I moved from there, and that's when I went up on Broad Street.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So was your family, and you got 2 girls or one?
I got 2 girls.
Okay.
The daughter out there on the porch
Uh-huh.
that lives with me.
Okay.
Then my baby daughter, she's married. She's
Okay.
the baby.
And what's her name?
And her name is Stephanie.
Okay.
Stephanie Jones.
And she lives where now?
She lives out in on Silver Bell Trace. She lives out in a subdivision called Lavany Glen.
Okay, so she still living in the area?
Yeah, and she's married to the Reverend Pastor Troy Jones.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
and they are members at Chestnut Grove.
Okay. All right.
Mhm. And then I have one granddaughter by her,
Okay.
and she's 11 years old, and she goes to Bunny Harris High
Okay.
Elementary School.
Okay.
So, and then my son, he's the oldest. He's the oldest. He lived with me until he graduated. And Fred,
What's his name?
Christopher Bizzle.
Okay.
And then he went to Marsh Brown for
Okay.
2 years,
Uh-huh.
and then he came out and he went in service.
Okay.
So he was in service 6 years. He did when he came out.
Oh, good.
He did reserve,
Okay.
and he married a girl from Atlanta.
Mhm.
My daughter-in-law is from Atlanta.
Okay.
And then he has one son that will be graduating this year,
Okay.
and he's been accepted to Morehouse.
Okay.
And
Wonderful.
so
yes. That's good.
they are doing good.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And your daughter here, her name is.
Her name is Leisha, and it's
Okay.
Lesha,
Okay.
and she's always been with me.
Right.
She'll always be with me.
Right.
She is a little special, not special,
Right. Uh-huh.
and she's not married. She
Okay.
doesn't have any children,
Okay.
but
Okay.
she lives here with me.
All right.
And she's part of Hope Haven, but not where someone has to be with her all the time.
Okay.
She does her own thing. So,
Okay. Anything else you want to say about the community and the people?
I would say that Athens is a very good community to live in and to raise your children.
Mhm.
And
You're missing church too, didn't you?
church, I'm a member of Hills Chapel.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've been at Hills Chapel, I would say all my life, because I joined Hills Chapel when I was 13 years old. And when you come down Broad Street and you see the hotel that sits on there, when you leave Millage, when you stop for the light,
Okay.
then you got the service station.
Yes.
Then you come down and you see the hotel right there would be on your left, would be on your right if you come in. That was where Hill Chapel used to be
Right.
before they moved here where we are now.
Okay.
And I found the Lord and joined church at 13.
Okay.
I was 13 years
Okay.
old. And now I am.
Where was it then? Where was it located?
It was located
downtown?
then down there where the hotel at.
So you joined
Yeah.
in the old building?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I've been there ever since I was 13
13.
years old.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
And anything else you want to say about church? Are you still
I'm
singing?
very much affiliated with my church. That's a part of me, and I do church basically every Sunday. I'm also in Bible study from 12 to 1, and then I am also in the choir.
Okay.
I've always sung in the choir,
Mhm.
and
Since West Broad Street School.
that's right. And then I am also part of the, it was just on the tip of my tongue. I love people, so I'm always, I'm a greeter
Okay.
also when I'm
Okay.
not in my choir.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm also a part of the Athens Voices of Truth, and I've been in the Athens Voices of Truth choir over 30 years.
30 years.
Over 30-something years,
Wow,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Which James Smith is the director. Mhm.
Okay. Anything you want to say about? You mentioned a little bit about integration and the era about race relations.
Well, I just think that I tell my grown-ups now that those years that we came up was the best years, because it was an all-black thing. And by being an all-black thing, when I said that was because we didn't have to share. I mean, when I said we didn't have to share,
Mhm.
we had a black football team, all
Oh,
black
okay,
football
okay,
team.
okay.
We, as a people, everything was done black. You know,
Okay.
we didn't have to be bothered with the white.
Mhm.
And so I just said it was good because we just got, you really miss us out, I think, when you don't come up in a black environment for
Okay.
it school wise, I think.
Okay.
Because I think the teacher was more concerned. They were good teachers. They was firm, stern.
Mhm.
And I think you came out to be a better person.
Okay.
I'm not knocking the kids that are coming out now, but I just think that you just missed out on something.
Okay.
The closeness, the playing together.
Mhm.
We didn't, it was, you know, we always, everybody always looked out for each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We gotta
Yeah.
talk about that. Anything else you want to say? Anybody who inspire you? Where you find your inspiration at?
You know, Fred, I really haven't given it a thought. I find my inspiration comes from my parents because I had good parents.
Okay.
And I had a good upbringing. And as I have grown and has grown older,
Mhm.
I am just very appreciative. And I think all people should be, whether mom or dad or whatever, they should be very appreciative of parents, no matter how you they had to struggle, if they did something that you didn't like, unless the neighbor was abusive, you know.
Right.
I think that you should be very appreciative
Okay.
of your parents.
Okay.
And I feel like that you and I would not be here if we wasn't for our parents. And so I would just say I got my inspiration from my mom and my dad and my grandma. And so that's what I would say.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
That's it.